down by my house, there's this big intersection, and there's these couple dudes that will randomly, as you're sitting at the red light, they'll walk out into the middle of the road and start juggling. Sometimes they have music, I don't know. But they're juggling, and then before the red light is done, they catch everything, and then they wave off their hat and walk through all the crowds and try to get, or the cars, and try to get some money from everybody. And I was thinking about like us like filming a video of us like doing that and like watching them and rolling down the window, and right as they get to us, we'll be like, "Get a fucking job, dude."
Oh Jesus.
Oh, that took a turn. You didn't think that was gonna happen like that?
No, I thought you were gonna say something.
You're gonna like over tip them $100 or something?
No. Definitely not. Maybe like a critique, like, oh, you only do 4?
Dude, I
do
forgot.
4 balls at a time?
You can juggle pretty well. That would be even funnier if you went against him side by side and started juggling. Like, I get the money. Who gets more money?
No, that would be good. Like, come in with your own thing. Like, some guy's doing something and you start doing something else or something better. That would be excellent.
You're competing for attention, dude.
I'm like spinning plates on sticks. You're over there sword swallowing.
That I have a Diablo. Remember the Diablo?
Oh, okay,
I could throw that in the air, dude.
It would be
this is interesting.
A full-on like roadside homeless circus. That could be rad.
The juggler would be so confused. Like, these guys aren't part of my act.
That'd be great.
Oh, I know. I'm literally. I see these. I don't know what hours exactly these guys work, but I see them every once in a while, especially in the summertime.
What are some like good stereotypical homeless acts that they could do? Like,
should we just
drinking a fifth or like surviving a fentanyl overdose? That's horrible.
There we go. We took another turn in there.
Yeah, no, it was too far.
Could there be other acts that we crash in the middle of the street, like people singing and we join the band?
I'm trying to like gather 20 of these guys, and I kind of want to be the Barnum Bailey guy.
Oh, okay. Well, they for some reason society crashed circuses. Was that the animal? Because of the animals or the freaks?
Well, the freaks were definitely. They stopped using that word, buddy. I think that you know what's crazy? There was a circus in Denver a while ago, a traveling circus. So they're not totally dead. And I remember in Phoenix, the Barnum and Bailey circus would come, like as a traveling show.
But I think they finally are extinct. Barnum and Bailey's.
I don't think so. I remember going to one.
When you were a child?
That's true. I was a child.
Because this is 20. Was this pre-COVID or post-COVID?
You have to think. I was like 10 years old.
That's like the new timeline now. Like you have to. Was this pre-COVID? Because things were a little crazier pre-COVID. Right?
There was a. Did you ever go to the Boom Boom Huck Jam?
I wish, man. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I went to a couple of those. That's kind of like a traveling circus.
Even the one now with Travis Pastrana.
Is it like a Nitro Circus?
Nitro Circus.
It's got circus in the name.
Well,
so I think circus have just evolved.
And they are freaks.
They shied away from like people with deformities being called freaks, and like one ringleader who like beats the acts until they perform.
That Travis Pastrana guy is a madman. I mean, have you seen like his highlight video of him jumping out of planes? I mean, jumping off his motorcycle.
Yeah.
And also like the process of like, oh, I'm gonna learn a double backflip, and you just see him die like 8
over
times.
and over again.
You're like, oh, is he gonna live? I'm pretty sure he's dead. You're flying in the air, just hoping this thing flips twice and then it doesn't fall on top of you. I mean, I know like they have all like the safety precautions and the special ramps that are kind of like bungee, but or cushioned. But man, can you imagine a 200-pound, 300-pound motorcycle falling on you from 20 feet in the air?
No.
They've broken all their bone, lost all their teeth, and then they're like, oh, whatever.
My favorite circus joke is a father and son go to the circus, and they're seeing all the acts, and one of them is like, like the bear that can ride the tricycle?
Yeah.
On the way home, the kid says to his dad, how do they get the bear to ride the tricycle? And the dad says they nail its feet to the handlebars and beat the shit out of it. I think that's like a Bert Kreischer joke or something. I can't remember where I heard that. I'm pretty sure it was him.
You'd be amazed what somebody would do if you didn't feed them for a couple days.
You should just beat the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah, man. So circuses are dying, and then like the whole Tiger King and all those sanctuaries,
roadside attractions.
Yeah, dude. Like people are going after those too, man. Like isn't he calling it out like they're gonna all die, all of them?
Well, with people like Joe Exotic, who all of his employees said they have kittens like tiger cubs and stuff just to get the initial boost in people, and then once they're no longer a cub, they can't afford to take care of them. They're no longer profitable. So they just have cubs and they kill them. I imagine that will stop at some point.
I know that was the whole like tiger show thing, and that was terrible. But I'm looking the stat up right now. I'm pretty sure the United States, has like the most tigers in it or something like that.
That is the majority of the tigers in the entire world are in private collections in the U.S.
Dude, I guess maybe they won't be able to get rid of that, man. Like, how are we going to put all them tigers?
You'll just nail their feet to the pedals and beat the shit out of them.
Because it's people like the Tiger King, right, that are holding 1,000 tigers in fucking captivity. And the Mike Tysons that have one random one.
Right.
I
think as far as roadside attractions go, there are a bunch. We've talked about this before, but
there are more tigers in captivity in the U.S. than in the wild.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Oh, all I was going to say is like there are a bunch of roadside attractions that I want to go to. One of them that was on a bucket list for me was the Guidestones.
That blew up?
They just got blown up.
I don't even know really the story besides that.
Oh, have you not?
I just found out we had these, first of all, and then I'm like, like reading up like this is some kind of like 10 commandments plus a bunch of other commandments on it.
Well, had you not heard about them until they got exploded?
Yep.
Really? Okay.
First time.
So this is like one of the...
Apparently we've had our own Stonehenge this whole fucking time.
Since 1980. That's when it got built.
Oh, so, I thought it was fucking built like who knows when.
No. I'll tell you all about them.
Oh, so it's very religious kind of shit.
So
1980?
Yeah.
Oh, then this is fucking...
So what happened was a guy using a pseudonym came to, a mason worker who can carve shit out of stone? I don't know. A masonite?
Stone worker?
I
don't know.
He came to this guy and he said, I have been working with other people for the past 20 years on these stones. And he gave the guy the blueprints. They're not only like commandments, but they're also a calendar and a clock. And like there's a hole carved in it where you can see the North Star. And there's another thing carved in it so you can mark the solstice. He comes to this guy with these 10 commandments, this project for the stone thing. And the guy is thinking to himself, this guy's a fucking nut job. I don't want to do this. So he quotes him something outrageous, over $100,000 for this like little stone structure. And the guy says, no problem. And
everybody has a price.
There are 10 commandments on these stones. There are 4 stones, and the commandments are inscribed in a different language on each face. So there's 8 different languages that these 10 commandments are written on. And the first one, the commandments are to guide Guidestones. They're to guide civilization post-nuclear apocalypse. So once humanity has depleted its numbers, these Guidestones are meant to create a better world. And the first 2 commandments are population control and eugenics.
I remember the first one. I heard about the first.
Keep the world under 500 million.
Yeah.
And control birth rates and stuff like that. So like I think the second one reads like be selective about who is born or something like that. Anyways, I had heard about them because
kind of a pause here on because
yeah.
you said birth rates or just made me think of what do you say, birth control. I was watching this Vice documentary on the guy that always goes and tests the different drugs out, and this one was a 3-part documentary on this frog that excretes stuff off its back that you like.
The Sonoran Desert frog.
Did you see this documentary or no?
No, but I know about these. It's like the purest form of DMT.
There you go. There you go.
To the fucking moon.
And well, we can talk about this later. I don't know if we're going to sidetrack from it. We might already, because I even forgot what I was fucking even talking about. What were we talking about before?
The Guidestones.
Oh.
I'll wrap up the Guidestones real
Go ahead,
quick.
wrap up the Guidestone story.
I'd heard about them a long time ago from, Alex Jones.
Yeah.
Like these conspiracy nuts.
Sure.
Who are pointing to these Guidestones as like evidence that there is like this group of elitists who are planning something. So obviously,
Conspiracy.
back in like 2008, these Guidestones got defaced by people who are writing "Death to the New World Order" and spray paint on them. And then finally, a couple days ago, someone blew them up, and they don't know who yet, but they have. I'm pretty sure they have the car on footage.
Oh. Wow, man. I didn't know they were from 1980. I thought they were really old.
But this was something I wanted to see because this is like a weird America roadside attraction.
For sure.
And now they're gone.
Well, I think isn't like 2 of them knocked over and there's still like 2 left, kind of?
One was totally demolished. And then, oddly enough, the same, like that happened at night. The very next day, the local government already had an excavator out there to bring the rest down because it was a safety hazard. You know, it could fall on someone now that it's like not stable anymore.
Wow.
But that happened so quickly.
Wow.
It's not like they roped it off. They were like there with an excavator knocking that shit down. It's a weird thing for a small Georgia town. You know what I mean?
It's a very weird thing in general. I don't know a lot of people that conspire to build giant stones with commandments and everything else that you might need in an apocalypse, possibly. Like where you're expecting like an apocalypse to happen, and you're like, oh man, remember those Guidestones? That can help us, man. That's what we need right now.
Also, yeah, this is assuming that the nuclear apocalypse happens and everybody everywhere is dead. Except for some people near Georgia who would seek out these Guidestones and build
to repopulate first.
Right. Georgians.
Sorry, Georgia.
If anyone's listening from Georgia, we mean every word we say.
All 3 of you, and you're all cousins. No! Sorry, I gotta.
Yeah, you guys aren't controlling your birth yet. Maybe start looking to those stones now.
Why weren't you reading the stones?
What were you talking about with the toad?
I know the whole time you were bringing up the
toad.
stones, I was trying to figure out the whole connection between the toad.
A Vice documentary, a toad.
I know there's something early in the documentary, but anyways, I'll talk about that because it was very interesting.
Sorry. I was going to say, getting the stuff off the toad's back is kind of fucked up because you have to agitate them.
They showed it all. I watched
they showed it? Okay.
Yeah.
It
was semi-humane-ish how they did it because they ended up releasing the frog. But yeah, you have to distress it. And how they did it was they literally created... They two sticks on the ground, and then tied twine to each of its limbs. So he tied it down so it couldn't move.
Fairly humane.
Couldn't move. That's humane, right? I mean, and then it just kind of it kind of just poked it in the ribs a little bit and like agitated it, and then its back stuff started coming off its back.
Yellow slime.
And it was very interesting because this guy is very well versed in drugs, DMT. He's done DMT and ayahuasca, all that. And I've been learning a lot from him because he went around with different shamans and stuff for 3 days around the Amazon, trying to find this damn frog. And one of the guys brought him to a plant that he said was ayahuasca, but apparently you can't just have one plant. You need like
2 plants.
Yeah, you have to have another plant to activate the DMT.
Yeah.
And so he had one plant, but he needed another plant with that chemical.
I think it's like the
DMT
leaves of one plant and the bark of another, or maybe it's the leaves and bark of one.
I'm not
I think
sure.
it's 2. It's definitely 2 components that you have to brew together like a tea.
He literally was saying the chemical compounds of like one's got the DMT and one's got the some other thing, and that's what boom they work. And with only this one plant that he had, it would kind of just daze him a little bit. It wouldn't be enough to give him like all the DMT trip, but it would be enough to just kind of, he'd be out for the day kind of. So then like they're back to looking for the frog, and they get the frog and they try it, and he later gets the other version of the plant to do ayahuasca. But I think the ayahuasca fucked him up way more than the damn frog, because and it was also a little bit of how this tribe did it. Like he did the traditional way of the tribe, and how they did it was they would light up a stick and burn your arm, and then take the stuff off the back of the frog and put it in the burn.
Okay.
And so that's like, he's getting stung by this fucking thing. And he had his guide do it first, and he did 2 burns. And the guide just pretty much like, he's like laughing, and then he basically just like kind of like takes a nap. You okay? And after like a couple minutes, man, he like kind of comes to, and then he kind of goes out to the water and takes a little swim. And he comes back and he's like, he's not gonna be able to take 2. And this guy's like a tiny, scrawny little dude. Like I don't know why he is deciding to go out in the Amazon for a couple weeks, because he's getting eaten alive by mosquito. I never realized how bad. I mean, they say like the bugs are bad, yeah, but he's literally, his hands are like twice the size, because they just go for all these veins in your knuckles, and they kept going for his neck. So he's got mosquito bites all in his neck.
I want to be covered in mosquito bite and then trip balls.
I know,
that would
right?
be horrible.
I feel like bugs are coming out of me. There's laying there. You're in the Amazon too, so he's gotten in the water a couple of times. You gotta be thinking like there's a fucking leech in my asshole or something like that. Or
those the way that the non-traditional way to do the toad venom is to piss them off. You rub that venom on glass and you just let it dry out, and then you take it off the glass and you smoke it, and then it like sends you to a different realm. So
he did one burn, and he definitely felt something, but he ended up doing it like 3 more times. I think he did like 4 burns on his arm. Yeah, 3 or 4, and he basically said like it definitely fucked him up, but nothing as bad as intense as like ayahuasca would be. And he said that in his opinion, he thinks he could just take the stuff and rub it inside of his nose, and it would have worked way better.
Yeah, I don't burning yourself isn't a great way to administer something, right? Because you'd imagine it would like cauterize
right away,
and then you're just rubbing it into like scar tissue.
I know. Like, I don't know if the idea is you're getting into the bloodstream or something. It was just the ancient like Amazon tribe back there, how they have always done it, you know. And I was interested to see that he's these little tiny tribes in the Amazon that have no human contact. They do have like little tiny pharmacies, like little hut and little shelves, and it'll have like penicillin and like actual medicine in there. And I was like, so somebody has come here and explained medicine to you.
People bring that out to them.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, there are definitely ones even further out without that, but because every time he's going to these different places, he's mentioned that one of them. It blew my mind that, you know, even out there they have some civilized medicine. You know, it's starting to work its way in and stuff.
It's weird. Some tribes are totally isolated. Like, you know that island that you're not allowed to visit with the tribe?
Because they'll kill you.
And that guy, there's this island, I don't remember where it is, but it has a tribe of people who have been so segregated from humanity that you're not allowed to contact them. You're not allowed to go there because you could bring a disease that wipes out this entire population.
True.
And this one guy, like a missionary from Canada or some shit, he decided he was going to bring Christianity to these people. And he commissioned a fishing boat. And the fishing boat got near the island, but they were like, we're not going any closer to this island.
Right, dude. You realize?
And
there's a tribe of people with spears and arrows. And you got an arrow to your arm, man?
So he took a little boat out there and immediately was killed. He's holding his Bible. An arrow goes through the Bible, I imagine. I'm painting a picture.
He tries to block as many as he can with the Bible.
With the power of Christ. It didn't work out for him.
Oh, now that would have been something. If he would have blocked them all, they probably would have listened to him.
Yeah. Oh, shit. What's in that guy's hand?
Oh, that would have been awesome.
So, yeah, that story ends in a death.
I mean, the frog thing was pretty wild. I love those Vice documentaries that he does. He's going out and testing out not only different drugs, but also like the traditional ways that all these different societies
I've seen that guy, I believe, do like mushrooms in Mexico or something.
Right. Super scrawny, tall dude. I couldn't believe he went out to the Amazon for a couple weeks, man. I wouldn't want to go to the Amazon, and I'm a little husky. I'm like, I feel like I can endure some things, you know what I mean?
My buddy's gone out to Peru to do ayahuasca a couple times.
I went to Peru once, and I totally didn't even realize that it was like one of the ayahuasca capitals out there, you know? I did go to Machu Picchu, which was one of the things you have to go do when you're in Peru. But I would love to go back to Peru. After my girlfriend and I left, we talked about 7 things that we didn't get a chance to do. Obviously,
was ayahuasca on the list?
Now it is. Yeah. It totally. At the time, I didn't even think about ayahuasca. I was didn't even think about it.
I will not do that.
To tell you the truth, my girlfriend and that trip was like, we have the week, we're doing this every day, you know what I mean? And there was only one day that we got to kind of be free because something went wrong and like, I don't know, language translation, I don't know, something messed up. And then it ended up being awesome because we ended up going on our own hike and seeing these like waterfalls and stuff. And people were making like rock statues.
Yeah.
And Tess ended up doing like a statue of like 10 rocks. And I would only get like 3 or 4 and then they'd fall over. Like I got no patience or something.
It's definitely a learning disability that you have, buddy. It has nothing to do with your patience.
I get to the 3rd one and then I got pissed off, man. Like after 3, they start falling over.
There have been a bunch of times where me and Kelsey, there's like some translation issue and we end up on a bus 7 stops away from where we're supposed to go.
Ah, dude.
And it's like, well, we could wait for the next bus or we could start walking to where we were going. Yeah. It's only 6 miles that way.
We were trying to do all the tours and guides and all that, and one of them we just missed, man. Like, what are you going to do? But like I said, it ended up being one of the funner days for me. I mean, we did this pretty cool food and culture tour. So tried all these different fruits that you never had, which I think I might have told that story before because the stupid lady that was like, I don't like fruit.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing on the fucking food and culture tour? Like, what'd you want to eat today? We're just gonna have steak. I don't know. What do you eat? Like, you're not a vegetarian. I don't understand that one. Anyways, Peru is amazing. Machu Picchu. We just happened to go right before COVID, pre-COVID, and then everything shut down, and now it's reopened. But it was definitely something is so interesting. I mean, just to get into it is something else. It's very touristy, but you have to like fly to. I can't remember where we flew to, but then we had to go to Cusco, which Cusco is like the town that you like prep almost to get to Machu Picchu.
Cusco, the llama from The Emperor's New Groove.
That's where the llama was. We stopped and saw the llama, yeah. There was a lot of llamas. I definitely saw that.
That's the thing, yeah.
And Cusco was crazy too, because it's like a shanty town basically, and everything. The roads are like this tiny, and there's buildings on every side of it, and we're getting our Airbnb there, and we're walking in, and we're like, it's just like a shanty town, man. We're walking into, it was weird. But it was exciting. I don't know. I need to go back, and apparently need to go do ayahuasca, man. Would you do ayahuasca?
I would not do ayahuasca.
Because you'd be changed afterwards? You'd be a new man?
Well, I don't want to deal with the mosquitoes, first of all. I'm not going to do... If I am doing ayahuasca, it's not the traditional way.
I went to Peru, and I didn't... I mean, I went... I did some stuff. It wasn't that bad. It's not like you have to...
There are so many reasons why I wouldn't do it. One of the reasons is my buddy went there, and the experience he describes is like you take a boat down this river, and eventually you end up in like this ayahuasca retreat type deal, and everyone.
That's the thing, is I have no idea how I would find this whole thing.
Right, everyone's staying.
Is it in the tour guides? Like,
you can Google it. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's online. Like, how do I find the ayahuasca tour?
So if I'm gonna do
a substance
that, like, yeah, it's legal there.
Oh,
because you're using for ceremony or whatever.
I did buy a box of cacao or not cacao.
Cocaine.
Cocaine, yeah, coca leaves. And you can buy it as a tea, and apparently when you buy just a box of it in tea form, it's fine. But if you were to like refine it,
well, just like mushrooms, you're allowed to buy spores.
I guess, yeah.
And if you grow the mushrooms, then
so I literally have cocaine in my apartment right now.
It's pretty cool. Okay, well, I'll be contacting the authorities as soon as this podcast is over.
Oh.
So, yeah, if I'm going to do like a mind-altering thing, I hate the idea of relinquishing control, which in the middle of a rainforest in Peru, that's like my absolute nightmare.
I know. I wish I could just bring the ayahuasca here.
There are there are retreats you can go on here that it's like a group of people who will take you out and make you do ayahuasca. But even then, it's like, who are these people? It's illegal here. Bad vibes. So, and then the third reason is
if I get somebody to ship me some plants, you'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll make some. It'll be a video. The final reason is that my buddy did ayahuasca. He went to Peru non-religious, and he came back a Muslim.
I know.
It like totally changed him.
Once. And I've heard people having life-altering experiences with ayahuasca, man. I'm like,
I don't need my life altered.
I'm pretty good now. I don't know.
I definitely don't want to come back like religious.
Maybe I would turn into the freaking minimalist and just get rid of everything. I don't want to stuff anymore.
That'd be great, actually. You need to do ayahuasca.
I just have to turn around.
Even if it brought you down to a normal level where you weren't hoarding anymore, that'd be pretty cool.
We're having a yard sale this Sunday, folks. Come on down.
This is totally off topic, but did you have a PC in your house growing up?
Yeah.
Do you remember the websites you would frequent when you were younger?
I know, like, I had MSN Messenger.
Okay, I remember. I definitely had, Messenger. That was a fun thing. Do you remember your username?
No.
Me neither.
Man,
Do you remember Newgrounds or E-Bombs World?
I do remember E-Bombs World. It wasn't something that I frequented, but I do remember that one.
There was one called Newgrounds where you could play like little flash games, and they had an adult portion of their website, and there was this trivia game, and it was the same questions that just repeated throughout the game, and it was this blonde chick eating a popsicle, and like every time you got an answer right, you know, an article of clothing would get removed or something like that. It was like a more graphic picture as you got them correct.
Okay.
And me as like a 12-year-old or some shit, I knew the answer to every question. I would click through that shit. I knew the answer to every question. Another website that existed back then that does not exist anymore, I think, is did you ever get on oh man, what was it called? It was I had the name a second ago.
MySpace.
MySpace? You remember MySpace?
I liked MySpace.
MySpace
man.
was very cool. You could customize MySpace in a big way.
You made your own website, man. And I mean, sometimes the shit wouldn't work on it'd be like a question mark, like the code stopped working for some reason.
Well, that was cool. It like kind of it showed you what HTML looked like and how it can change a website.
Yeah, and I liked it because, like now, if I have a Facebook, that's it. You have their platform. That's all you get to do. I don't get to put my own theme song, my own top 5 friends on there. Like,
right,
dude. Are you on somebody's top 5, dude? Like that was a big thing on MySpace. Like, if you get, dude, if I got back into my MySpace, do you think you'd be on my top 10?
No.
Back then,
no, back then Facebook was just becoming a thing, and
it was in high school.
I certainly didn't have MySpace in high school.
Oh,
By high school, MySpace
if you didn't
was
have
dying.
it, then I didn't. Then I wouldn't have had it.
I had MySpace through, like maybe up until high school. That's when it died off, and
I didn't start my. You don't have Facebook at all, do you? Did you have one for a while?
I don't have a Facebook. I had a Facebook in high school.
Okay. I didn't start a Facebook until the very end of high school, like senior year. I was resistant because I liked MySpace so much. I was like, fuck my Facebook, man. Like, I'm sticking to MySpace. And eventually, I don't know, got persuaded somehow. I think it was the girlfriend I had at the time. Like, you need one of these. I'm like, okay.
You need a Facebook?
Yeah, dude, for real.
You got cucked into having a Facebook?
Which is funny now because I don't even think she's friends with me on it anymore.
Who would want to be your friend?
We're steady climbing right now on our YouTube followers right now. Is it followers? Right.
Subscribers,
sorry.
Loyalists is what I call them.
Cult?
It is a cult. It is a cult, and we're all going to go to Peru and do ayahuasca.
Did we ever figure out a name? Sulties?
Saltines?
Saltines.
Yeah, they're the crackers that get dipped into our soup. And I mean that
good little shirt
as
idea
sexually
too.
as possible.
Oh, I like it.
Dude, I wish I could remember the name of this website, because the whole reason I brought this conversation up was because the name of this website popped into my head.
You said E-Bombs World and something else.
Newgrounds, and then we went on to
Newgrounds.
MySpace. But this website was pictures of people who were dead. It was it was a fucked
Faces
up.
of Death?
No, that was like a video to watch.
Did you ever watch Faces of Death?
I did not see Faces of Death.
I definitely saw one. I don't know if it was an episode or a highlight or something, man, and it was gross.
This website, whose name escapes me, there are people probably who know what I'm talking about right now. But that was a website I discovered when I was dude, the internet back then was so fucking wild. You could just go to a website and see dead bodies, and that had to have fucked us up a little bit.
I just remember how easy it was to talk to strangers, which I mean, maybe it is now, but I remember just being on MSN and going into these chat rooms, man, and you just talking to random people, man.
Do you remember LimeWire?
Yeah.
LimeWire. Did you ever try to download porn from LimeWire?
Yeah. No.
I certainly did.
Yeah, I did.
And back then, you had to wait so fucking long.
I probably still have it on a hard drive somewhere. Man.
LimeWire porn.
With my couple of like go-to porn stars.
LimeWire. I mean, I think LimeWire then became FrostWire. I was still using FrostWire in like 2011.
Oh yeah, then you switched over to FrostWire because it was supposed to be better, but it was still as much fucking bullshit.
It was the same amount of bullshit. Oh, you know what? I switched to FrostWire back in 2011. I was using something called Pirate Bay. Did you ever fuck with Pirate Bay?
Yeah.
It was another like torrent site,
and then ended up being just kind of another torrent you used on LimeWire. Because I downloaded from Pirate Bay a lot. That's interesting.
It also got taken down, I'm sure.
Did you currently have a favorite porn star?
Star?
And should I be saying that this loud?
Why?
If your wife is in the other room listening in?
Why would
this?
you call them a star? They're not stars.
Porn actress?
They're not actresses either.
Actor?
Maybe
I wasn't expecting.
Maybe a porn worker or something.
My favorite is the Sledgehammer. He's
That's a guy. Okay. I'm not surprised, actually. Why is he called the Sledgehammer?
He always wears his construction boots, and he fucking hits the job hard, man.
Just construction boots?
Yep.
Is he like on the job site or something? Why does he have to have boots on?
You want better traction when you're hammering.
You don't want a nail to go through your foot or something.
So
is that mostly? Does he do straight stuff ever, or is it?
I just made him up. Are you gonna?
You made him up?
Are you gonna avoid the question all day?
I don't know names. That's not how I peruse.
You just search anal gape.
Gape, yeah. Yeah, I just gape. Only gape stuff. I think
that stuff weirds me out, man. Once I see that, I'm like, next, dude. What are you doing, man? I don't want to look at that.
I don't want to look into that. I'm not a doctor.
You're not supposed to look into the brown eye, dude. What are you doing? It's like Medusa.
Do you have you know them by name?
Like, at what time of my life?
Today. Wait, you have a catalog? You're like, oh, back in 2011, that was...
Definitely, like, back in that time, it was like, I was probably into Shannon Elizabeth, but she's not a porn star, but she had naked pictures. And that's the other thing, too, is back in the day, it was really hard to really kind of get porn even, too. Like, I don't know. Anyways, but Shannon Elizabeth was the girl from American Pie. The very first one is like...
yeah. With Natalie?
Might be her name, but she's like from a
the
different
foreign
country.
Exchange?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was my first big one, man.
Interesting.
My jerk off.
Yeah,
material.
back then it was pictures,
and
the pictures took a long time to load, and they would load like from the top down.
Unless you had like a VHS tape or something, like it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying like we're saying for the first of the internet, you still didn't really have like videos that much.
I remember. Yeah,
I don't really know. I don't.
Online, I would constantly look at porn, and yeah, back then it would load. The pictures would load from the top down, and I remember one time specifically when you're like on a web page that has a bunch of little pictures, and you click the picture, and it would show you. It would load like 10 high res pictures, and I remember I'm waiting for this one to load, and I'm like, oh God, she's so hot. And then it's like, it loads the boobs, and I'm like, oh fuck yeah, boobs. And then it gets down, and I don't know, I imagine photoshopped now that I look back on it. But then it loaded this giant dick, like just ridiculous.
And then you came. No,
yeah.
No!
It was the most confusing moment of my life. I'm like,
am I gay?
Why is it bigger than mine? So confusing.
That's funny.
But back then, also, you'd have physical porn. You'd have magazines and DVDs, is what I had.
Right, exactly.
And you could, those were currency. You could trade those for whatever like other nefarious goods you wanted.
I remember
fireworks, cigarettes.
When we were 18, we hit up a porn shop for the first time. Like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
At least it was maybe part of our gambling trip or something.
It was Elliot's 18th birthday,
right?
And we went to a porn store and we got squirt guns that were penises because we didn't know what
these
the
average size squirt guns. They were
average. Average. They were giant. If that's average, then
it's like this. Dude.
I'm doomed. Yeah, just average size. I don't know that. I'm giving up on even trying. I'm never taking it out again.
Oh, just kidding. Anyways, what were we talking about? Porn shops. Oh, porn celebrities. What do you call them? You're making fun of me. I can't call them porn stars now.
Look, I don't think they're stars, okay? Because if they were stars, everyone would know their names. Like George Clooney is a star.
Why?
And I wouldn't call them actresses because I've never seen one act.
You can't name any porn star's name.
I can name two, but that's because they've ended up on YouTube. Like they've gotten involved with like YouTubers.
Who?
First one I can think of is Lana Rhoades. She dated Logan Paul's buddy, Mike Majlik.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
And then the other one is Riley Reid. She was on a few different YouTubers' channels or something.
I thought for sure you're gonna say her because she has to be like one of the most popular.
It's messed up that I'm a child to the point where like I recognize people on YouTube and not Pornhub.
But now so that's like a minor celebrity then, right? Now they've reached minor celebrity.
They might be stars.
And what about that one Indian one too? What's her name?
Mia Khalifa.
Yeah.
You set me up for that. She's in the news really recently.
I don't know any of the names at all. All I had to do was say an ethnicity, and you fucking knew it in 2 seconds.
To be fair, she was trending on Twitter like a week ago.
To be fair, her tits are great. No, wait, I can't.
She was trending on Twitter recently because she's like trying to move away from.
Yeah, I know. She's
porn.
She's trying to make this.
She doesn't want to be known as like a porn girl anymore because she's got other things going on.
I can't even get a boyfriend now.
Dude, I heard she makes like 10 mil a week from her new venture, whatever she's doing now.
I thought she was still doing like OnlyFans and shit. Like
that could be OnlyFans.
That's what I'm saying. Like, like now you're just not going full dong. You know, you're just showing. I don't understand like what you're doing exactly, but don't quote me on that. I could be trashing her for no reason.
Have you ever been on OnlyFans?
No.
It's weird that there's a paywall to maybe see boobs.
You always have to pay? There's no free boobs? What about $1 boobs?
There might be $1 boobs. Hey, there might be $1 boobs. I'll show my boobs for $1.
One time I was in Vegas with some friends just dudes I worked with. We all decided to go to a Vegas trip. And I don't know, we're walking and it's like $1 strip club or something. And we're like, oh, that's my price. And it's like, I don't know if it said like peephole show or what. It's something weird. And we walk in, and it's just like you get your own box. Like it's all curtains. You get your own box. I'm like, what the fuck? All right, I go get in my own box, and then there's just glass and just a room, and you can't go into it, but you see through it, and then
can you see across the room into the other boxes?
No, there's no other. No, it's just us on this side, and then there's just this room here, and then slowly.
Is it for jerking off?
That's what I'm thinking, dude. You get your own private jerk off room, dude, and slowly ladies start walking out, and then they start just like slamming their ass on the glass and shit like that, and you're just like, and there's like a little hole you can put $1 bill in or something like that.
Did you jerk off?
Well, these ladies didn't quite get me going, unfortunately. This was the day shift. I don't know. This was like 3:00 in the afternoon.
When do you jerk off?
Well, it was a good time, but this was just, I don't know. Maybe I want to see the night shift next before I really make that kind of.
That's wild. I've like heard of jerk off booths, right? Dude, you know what's
found
weird?
one.
I've been in sex shops where
I've heard
there's
about
back rooms
jerk
where
off
I
booths.
don't know if like it's to pre-watch the porn or something, or I have not been in those
preview rooms or
Yeah.
something, right? Why would you need to preview this porno? That's so weird.
Who
man.
is buying a DVD of a porn anymore?
Who is cleaning that room?
The new
There's no
guy.
way
They've got
you're-
like one intern.
No way you're getting paid enough. Did I ever tell you the story? I used to work for Postmates, and one time the craziest order I ever had was for whippets. And whippets are like these little CO2 canisters.
Yeah.
And I had ordered for 2 boxes of whippets and 3 balloons. So you put the whippet in the balloon and hit the balloon, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so that's the weirdest order I've ever had, first of all. Secondly, it was to an adult shop, which was the first time I had ever had a Postmates order to an adult store. So I don't get to see what the order is. It just says the adult store, and I'm like, all right, we'll go for that. Because I was curious at that point. I'm like, I've never had one of these
What
before.
do these people order?
Yeah,
Whippets.
you want me to know what you want, first of all. Like, can you imagine me ordering like all these weird sex toys and shit I'm bringing over? Like, have fun, dude. But anyways, I have to go pick up their whippets, and I go to like the sketchiest adult shop I've ever been to. I go to the door. It's like the back door. It has a window this big, and it's like the front door says go to the back. So like I'm in the back, and then you get to the back door and it says please knock. I'm like, oh my
Dude,
god,
what?
So I knock, and a guy peeks his head out the window. He's like, open your jacket. I'm like, what? Opening my jacket. Like
Show me your dick.
yeah, zipper down.
Turn around.
Let's shake it.
Spread it. Make it talk to me.
Clap.
Make it say open sesame.
So I get through. She sees my butthole, and then I mean, by the way, this guy is face tatted all the way, man. Like all.
He's the one that ordered the whippets.
No. This is just a worker at the damn adult store, looking through the window.
So I just got to clarify. The adult store ordered the whippets, or someone ordered it from the adult store?
Somebody ordered from the adult store.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
picking it up for
Got
them.
it, got it.
I'm the median.
So the adult store sells the whippets.
Yes.
Interesting.
So I go pick up. Well, I mean, I browse around for a while, check the place out, and then I asked this guy, the tat face, "Do you guys? Because I don't even find the fucking thing. First of all, do you guys have whippets?" And like, yeah, we keep them behind the counter. And I was like, okay, I need 2 boxes, and it's like a big order, man. Like these things, it was like, I don't know, $50-$75 or something. Like it's a pretty big order for Postmates. And I give my Postmates card, and the fucking guy can't figure out how to use my damn Postmates card forever because he's never even dealt with something like this before. And usually
Well, it's weird because you would think like to order something from a store, they would need some type of integration where you could order from like a menu. So did this porn store have a menu with whippets on it?
I don't know.
It's so weird.
I don't know how they did this, man. And so then I was like, I don't know. So then I go deliver the thing, and normally I roll up and I park and I text them, just park, gonna walk up to the door. But literally right as I park, I didn't even have time to like get my phone out, and somebody's right at my door right here, man. And I didn't see them or nothing, man. They like were just right there. And then I like roll down the window and like give them the stuff, and they just left. And I didn't even see their face or nothing, man. It was the weirdest exchange I've ever had on that platform, by far. Weird whippet people.
How does Postmates work? So can I?
Well, here's the thing. I think I haven't worked for Postmates so long. I think they actually got bought out by Uber Eats. Kind of weird. I don't even think I can get back on it. Uber Eats is like the number one
delivery
food service. Side note here: Amazon just bought 2% of Grubhub, I think, which Grubhub is actually like the lowest percentage of market share of all the delivery apps. But
that's the one I use.
Really, Grubhub. But what's weird is, what's crazy is now that Amazon is not only they own a little bit of them, but they are partnering with them. If you are an Amazon Prime member, you get free Grubhub delivery. Yeah,
I knew I made the right choice, and it was 100% based on the name. I like a good rhyming name.
Now, who knows? Grubhub might be competing with Uber Eats now.
So,
not to change your subject about how it works.
I'm just curious because I've only ever seen these things for like delivering food.
I know.
How do you?
Postmates. Well,
could I download an app right now and order like a comically sized dildo from an adult store?
See,
someone bring that to me?
It now, I mean, like I said, Postmates is no more, but then I started working for Instacart during the COVID pandemic.
Okay.
Because the gym was closed down, and I was like, I need money, even though I was starting getting unemployment and bullshit. But I actually ended up making more money than ever because I was making unemployment and working this Instacart thing. And then getting those fucking checks. Anyways, an Instacart is very interesting because that's like grocery delivery. But then you can also go to Walmart's and Home Depot's and it's basically open to anything. So you could that's turning into like whatever.
Have you ever used these apps to like, I added a box of nails from Home Depot?
I definitely used to do Postmates when I worked for it.
When people use them, do they not know how much something is going to cost before?
It does. It does tell you what something costs. Yeah.
So that's the weirdest part of the story.
A porno menu.
This creepy little porn shack had a website integration with boxes and prices of whippets on the app.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
They must have. Had to have. And it's not like something you can just like leave a note. Whippets.
Yeah.
2 balloons.
Did they sell the balloons at this porn store?
The balloons were there too. Big balloons, man. Not just the normal size. This is like large balloons. I almost want to say it was the fucking balloons that you hit. I might be wrong on that, but it was big balloons.
And they were $75. Do you think that
They bought 2 boxes for sure. It was a bunch of canisters in a box.
Do you think maybe I could get into the business of selling people CO2 cartridges?
I don't know if there's a huge demand. Who knows?
But the customers, they buy a lot at a time.
I guess, yeah.
There doesn't need to be that many for you to move a lot of product.
It's not like that's all it is, right? CO2. You're just like
for a paintball gun or
for real,
like a CO2. We used to have to buy CO2 canisters, or I used to have to buy them for my maintenance crew to blow out like condenser lines for the AC and stuff.
Yeah. I feel, that's the thing is like, I'm pretty sure it has a bunch of uses already. It's weird that you'd see it in the porno shop though.
Yes.
Because that's not construction use. Or for your paintballs.
No. That's a wild story, man.
I need some whippets for my paintball gun.
It's so weird.
I never told you that one? Oh, shit.
No.
Definitely the wildest delivery I ever had. I want to say, like, everything else was pretty conventional. Like, Postmates, I just felt like it was so weird because I felt so grossed out how many people will just order gas station food and, like, be living off of that stuff, man. And I'd be delivering this stuff to them all the time. Go to the grocery store, get me pop, ice cream, candy bars, and candy. Like, I mean, just the worst things you could ever eat. And this is like their normal day, just ordering that junk.
I have found boxes of Whippets and like floors littered with empty canisters when I was working apartments.
Oh,
like
shit.
People get evicted usually because they're spending all their money on little tanks.
I've been waiting for some more apartment management stories, believe it or not. I know, like...
I don't know if have I told any on this podcast?
I don't think so, man. I mean, I've been trying to...
I could tell a funny one right now.
Yeah.
A weird one.
Well, I told the Whippet story. I don't know. You got an apartment?
Yeah, okay.
I mean, first of all, I don't even know if these people know, but you were an apartment manager in Arizona for 8 years?
Okay,
10 years?
I did property management for a decade. And I started out in leasing, like in the office. And I worked my way up for a while. And then on like just this weird, like accidental thing, I became a maintenance supervisor, which is like a totally different aspect.
Right.
I was working in the office. They had just fired the maintenance supervisor, and they needed someone to start ordering parts. And I was like in a high enough position where they could trust me with like a budget. So I did that for a couple weeks, or like maybe a month while they were trying to hire a new maintenance supervisor.
I was actually looking for a position with less responsibility and more pay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything along those lines?
This was that position, honestly.
Oh, really?
Anyways.
It was less work being the maintenance guy than
having to deal with
the apartments?
Like, I wasn't the
leasing.
manager. I was a leasing manager, which means
What
like...
is that? Leasing? You have to bring the new people in?
Right. So a leasing agent brings the new people in. Like, a leasing manager does that, plus make sure that the leasing agents are doing their jobs.
Oh, so you get to tell people they can or can't come to the apartment complex? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like
That's a very basic part of the job. Everyone does that. That's not a big deal either.
What was the shitty part then?
If you're a leasing agent and you're trying to get someone in and they don't qualify for the apartment, one, they know that they don't qualify before filling out the application, because the application tells them everything that they would need.
Yeah.
So if they get denied, I never feel bad about it. That's an easy part. The hard part is just like the workload when you're a leasing agent, because you're having these interactions a dozen times a day.
Oh.
And your responsibility is to not only rent the apartment, but make sure that the rental goes smoothly with all the paperwork and everything like that.
Sure.
While you're denying people, while you're dealing with residents coming through the door crying about something.
Gotcha.
Anyways, I ended up becoming the maintenance supervisor. And one time I got a schedule. So now my job is to make sure that the maintenance people are turning the apartment, which means from move out to move in. So they're just fixing everything, making it look nice for the next person. And I had one guy, his name was Mike, and he was really good maintenance worker. A couple weeks ago, he had finished turning an apartment, and it finally got rented, so they were moving in on, let's say, a Tuesday. Well, Mike was good, and Tuesday morning, he goes and checks the apartment before the office even opens. He checks the apartment just to make sure he didn't miss anything, or like in that time a light bulb didn't burn out or something like that. And there was a homeless guy that had gotten in there in like the week since nobody else had been in there. And a squatter. So we call the cops. They get him removed. And
is it really just that easy? Like, because I thought like
in Arizona it is.
Oh, okay.
You're a
trespasser.
You are the problem.
I'm always curious about what all those. There's no like weird laws of like I live here now or some bullshit or.
Yeah, there are no squatters' rights.
I don't know.
I've never had to deal with squatters' rights.
There you go.
Anyways, that guy gets taken out of there. Now Mike has like an hour or two before the office opens to fix all the shit that this guy messed up. So like there's obviously trash on the floor and some other touch-up stuff. But the weirdest part was that the sink faucet was missing. The faucet to the kitchen sink was gone. So now Mike has to install a new faucet for some fucking reason.
Right, it wasn't before.
Anyways, he installs a new faucet.
This homeless guy had another faucet at home that he needed to replace.
Meth addicts are weird, and they take shit apart, and that's what we assume.
Oh yeah, he needs it for meth.
And but the weird part about it was like the faucet wasn't anywhere to be found. Like he had taken it off and thrown it out the window or something.
Like where was it? Yeah.
So Mike installs the kitchen faucet. He finishes cleaning up everything else, and he does one final look through of the apartment, and he finds the faucet.
Uh-oh.
Behind the water heater, wrapped in a paper towel with a condom slid over it, was the faucet. This guy had removed the faucet to shove in his ass.
I mean, that's like kind of like a MacGyver thing, right?
It is kind of, yeah.
Anything,
No, you're right about that.
This guy
yeah.
a little bit. Like
Yeah.
I would have never thought about
Ingenuity for sure.
I mean, look at your faucet. Look at that thing. That's just like it's a big old curve thing. Imagine when you can.
It was not that big.
Imagine when you can do that for that thing. That's something else, man. That's if I was going to make a dildo, it would not have been with the faucet of the sink. I could say that.
Another weird one is when we would evict people or when someone would die, you have this holdover period where you have to not touch the apartment because they have like 21 days to come get their shit, or a family member if in the case of a dead person. Mm-hmm. But on like that 22nd day, if they haven't gotten their shit, it's the apartments. And
sure,
do we have to throw it away because we got to get it turned to the next person?
Right.
But that 22nd day is like Christmas because now you get to dig through someone's entire apartment worth of shit. And we would find crazy stuff. But the weirdest thing ever found was a medical jar containing a testicle.
Oh, no.
It was removed maybe because of cancer. I don't know why it was removed.
Oh, please tell me you still have it.
I don't have it. I wish. I would love to have that. But
man.
The dude kept his testicle, and then he left it behind when he got evicted. Why would you leave that behind?
Well, what was the eviction story? I mean, he wasn't paying, obviously.
I mean, that's usually the eviction story. They just don't pay, or they bail, or
guy had one ball, couldn't pay his bills. That's a bad road.
That's a hard life.
Oh man, dude, that's something. I never heard that story.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
One ball Joe. Yeah, I still keep it around. Yeah, I still like to play with it a little bit.
The weirdest part was it's like it wasn't on a shelf or anything. It was in a box, like under boxes in a storage closet outside.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like it was right next to his table side. He must have like carried it around.
That's where I would keep it. I would keep it on like a little pedestal, and everyone that came into my house would be like, "That's my nut."
I'd turn it into a necklace.
Can we preserve this in a different way outside of the jar?
Oh, weird, dude.
I'll share more later.
Would you ever keep one of your organs laying around the apartment that got removed?
Not just any organ, but I would definitely keep a nut if I could.
I guess a nut would be
definitely the coolest one to keep. I'm not keeping my gallbladder. That's not fun.
One of the people I work with just had an emergency appendix removal.
Yikes.
Scary.
Yeah.
Random, but anyways.
It's weird that you can't just get that shit removed. Something has to go wrong.
I have something that could potentially just blow up on me.
Yeah.
I have a potential bomb inside of me. And you guys can't just like get... Why? What is that?
Get all the extra parts removed if you can. Gallbladder, appendix. What else is extra in there? The testicles.
How weird is that, man? Like, did it used to do something? Like the gallbladder.
Yeah,
And
it
then
used to do something.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
I don't know what it used to do.
It
Maybe
helped.
like when you were eating rocks and shit.
Dude, what if it's our beacon to the aliens and you remove it?
What if? There's another Dalton what if.
Do you really not believe in aliens? by
You
the
know
way?
what's funny is I always know that we've done an hour when you hit me with a what if something aliens. Okay, we're done here. Yep. Do I really not believe in aliens? The potential for life to exist outside this world is great. Obviously, that is a possibility. I don't believe that aliens are visiting this planet for any reason.
I was just listening.
They've conquered space travel, and now they want to shove things in our faucets in our ass.
That guy was an alien.
That
He
guy
liked
was
the
an alien.
anal
Okay,
probe.
now I believe.
I was, my main source of education now is TikTok, and I was listening to some sort of mini documentary of the moon landing.
Mini documentary on TikTok.
That
That is a mini documentary. That is a micro documentary.
I watch a lot of mini documentaries.
Here's 30
now.
seconds.
I love TikTok. Lots of mini documentaries. Yeah, we'll call them micromentaries.
Yeah, you always. I'll let you finish this, and then I'm gonna give you a little critique.
So this was a good micromentary. It was I think I'm gonna have to copyright that word, make T-shirts and shit, man. I think we might have stumbled onto something.
Maybe that could be. You could create a TikTok account called Micromentary.
Oh shit! Why watch the whole documentary when you can
No
watch a
need.
micro
Yeah.
version?
Why learn when you just couldn't?
There's no way you'd be able to stay awake for the whole thing. Let's just give you the gist here.
What was your Micromentary about?
What are we talking about?
Aliens.
Aliens. Okay, so they landed on the moon, and this micro.
Aliens landed on the moon?
We did,
We landed on the moon. Okay.
but we might be aliens. Who knows? Anyways, this micromentary said that Buzz Aldrin got off, and then he switched his intercom from the normal intercom to the medical intercom, and apparently the medical intercom has the directly to NASA or something, and the other one was the public intercom where everybody could hear him.
Yeah.
This is you didn't know about this, right? This is in the micromentary. He said apparently that something along the lines of, "Wow, there's a lot of them out here, and they're watching us land on the moon right now."
There's a lot of them. How is that recorded? That's something I could listen to? Or this is just something the Micromentary claimed?
Do you have access to the private footage? The private audio?
Did he? How does he know that this was said?
Maybe he does. Maybe it was Snowden.
Okay. So
Maybe Snowden exposed
now
it.
here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's how I'm going to make fun of your...
Which one was the one that exposed the U.S.
Snowden.
government? It was all right? Okay.
But totally unrelated to NASA shit. That doesn't matter. What matters is that Dalton's constantly sending me these micromentaries.
A lot about
And-
aliens recently, too.
It's all the same exact thing. It's bad footage. It's an impossible to prove sequence of events.
You try to get footage of aliens, man. They
That-
fly so fast.
But here's what they really all share in common. They share this kind of creepy music, slow, creepy music. And the person is always talking like this, as if they are reading from a script, but poorly. And they haven't quite figured out how to read fluently. And it makes you it does this
knows?
weird, uncanny listening thing, which makes the footage even more creepy somehow. So it's another tactic. It's dumb.
I think you're just critiquing good production value.
The production value is so good.
If I send you, I'm gonna have to send you ones that don't sound like that now. Some guy freaking out because an alien's running at him.
Yeah.
Like, alien.
Here is footage of an alien. On November 6, 1974, this alien was spotted off of the Georgia coastline. It's like, what? What? There are so many weird things about that.
He does like to alliterate a certain way, huh? Enunciate a certain way. That's funny. I never noticed that.
You haven't noticed that? Oh, God. Okay. This podcast is now over.
You're kind of mixed in with a Canadian accent. Maybe he's Canadian. We don't know this yet.
I can't do a Canadian accent.
The only one...
to me, the Canadians sound like me.
Every time I talk to Canadians on Omegle, they switch me off. I don't know.
Yeah, because you shout, "Oh, Canada, eh?"
Hey, you're Canadian, eh? And they're like, no, I'm not Canadian. I don't know what they say. They just click next.
Okay, well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for watching. We will be back next week with another podcast.
Watch out for anal probes.
Yeah, specifically sink faucets.